Hey guys, it's Dillon. On this episode of the Construction Corner podcast, you're going to get me, and I'm going to take it away here in a minute. But first, this episode is really about what it takes to be great, and I really hope you enjoy it. I hope you take it to heart, and just know that Matt and I are here for you and to really give you guys the tools, tactics, strategies that we find to be useful, effective in the construction industry. Granted, we sit on opposite sides. We've seen a lot of things, and really want to give you ton of value, and we do that through this show. So thank you guys so much for listening. I'm going to talk about just greatness, what it takes to be great, habits, how to build them, how to get shit done no matter what is happening around you. So I hope you enjoy this episode with yours truly. So take it away. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Construction Corner podcast. I'm Dillon, I'm your host, and today it's just going to be me. Again, Matt and I run real businesses. We're real busy, and again, this year I've probably been on flight every other week throughout the year, and I have one more big trip this year, and that's it. I'll be in Raleigh here in a couple weeks, and that's it for trips this year. I want to finish out the year on 75 hard. So if you don't know what 75 hard is, you can go to Andy Frisella's page and look it up, the Real AF podcast, episode 208, and check it out there. But a quick rundown on 75 hard, for those of you that don't know, is one, it's a program. It's all about mental toughness. It's all about keeping you on track and really keeping momentum. I heard something here recently, which is why I've it's not why I'm doing 75 hard this time of year, but it is kind of an interesting little tidbit. So this guy happens to be in the fitness space, and the weight gain that people put on every year, right? Like let's say you go into the year at 200. I'm sitting like right under that right now, but let's say you go into the year 200, and then you finish the year at, like, let's say 210, right? So there's 10 pounds. That is what is gained in the next 4 weeks, right? Believe it or not. So like the weight gain that you put on, like the majority of people, vast majority of people put on all their weight here in December, right? The like hibernation weight is all put on here in December. So I'm avoiding that, right? But it's pretty interesting when you think about it. It goes into some of the other things I've talked about here recently, in that, with a lot of decision making and everything else, a lot of things just get put to the side, right? A lot of things get left. A lot of things aren't being done. A lot of things aren't being handled here at the end of the year, right? You can see just by the amount of weight gain of people that health and fitness and all those things kind of go out the window. Making decisions really just go by the wayside here in December. So I'm going to make it a point to not do that, right? Do the exact opposite so that I become better. I am better going into the first of the year, and that's just something that I am committed to. So anyway, rundown on 75 hard. It is sticking to a diet, right? So pick a diet, no cheat meals. This means no ice cream, no treats, no nothing, right? It's got to be on plan, and you got to pick a diet plan and stick to it for the entire duration of 75 hard, which is 75 days. So there's no cheats, no deviations in any of this. So stick to a diet, no alcohol. Need to drink a gallon of water a day. 2 workouts, one of which must be outside. Both workouts are 45 minutes, and there should also be an hour or 2 between each of your workouts. So 2 45-minute workouts, one of which must be outside. The point in doing one outside is that sometimes the weather is not going to cooperate with you. Sometimes the weather is not going to be in your favor, and sometimes it is not the thing that you want to do, which is also what I'm going to talk about today, right? So even when it's the thing that you don't want to do, you have to do it to complete the program, right? Conditions aren't always ideal, and this is to help us understand that even when things aren't ideal, we can still keep moving. So we've got gallon of water, a stick to a diet, no cheat meals, no alcohol. We have 2 workouts, one of which must be outside with a couple hours between them. Need to read 10 pages of an actual book every single day. And that 10 pages needs to be in, a nonfiction book, historical book, biography, right? Personal development, something that's going to get you better. This is not fiction. This is not fantasy. This is none of that. This is all nonfiction books is what you need to be reading. And then you need to take a progress picture, right? So take your shirt off, take a progress picture. And the thing with this picture is that it does not need to be posted to the world. You just need to take the picture. And the point of the picture is that little details matter, right? The little things in life matter. And things like a progress picture, right, which we deal with all the time in construction, and not of our bodies, but in construction, is important, right? It's important to have those pictures. It's important to get those details, and, details matter at the end of the day, as we deal with a lot in construction. And then reading, right, pretty self-explanatory. You just got to learn stuff. So that is 75 hard. You do that for 75 days in a row. Again, no deviations, no exceptions, no substitutions. Do the program as it's outlined. And for me, day number 75 will be on December 30th. So I can ring in the new year with some wine, champagne, and it'll be great. So that's what my plan is to really kick some ass here at the end of the year. I made it through Thanksgiving without drinking. It was actually easier than I maybe thought it was. Definitely missed out on some good wine, but that's okay. So the point being here is, look, even if you don't want to do something, even if conditions aren't ideal, even if you don't feel like it, right? Which we're talking about emotions. If you don't feel like doing something, or you're just procrastinating about it, but you're thinking about it, right? You're thinking about doing something. What I've found more often than not is the amount of time that it takes to do the thing that you're dreading to do, the amount of time to actually get done, or at least knock something off your list for today versus the time that you spend agonizing about it, is minuscule, right? Like, you're going to spend way more time agonizing over it than you will actually doing it. So if you just did it and got it over with, you'd feel better, right? First off, you would feel so much better about the thing because it would be done. It's off the list. You don't have to worry about it. And it wasn't as bad as you ever thought it would be. So if you just do it, then you'll feel better about it. So that's one. Number two is, at the end of the day, feelings don't matter, like results matter. Now, feelings about a company, a brand, and how we are perceived in the marketplace, that does matter. But it's usually because we did or did not do something, right? If you didn't deliver, if you didn't make a customer happy, if you didn't do the right things, if you didn't put things on time to them, then, they're not going to be happy, which is understandable because you didn't do what you said you're going to do. You were probably thinking about it. You were probably procrastinating, and you were probably just pissing off customers. So doing the thing would make your life a whole lot easier, right? And I think that's what we miss a little bit here, is that just do it, man. Like, Nike has a great slogan. They did a great job in that, and just do it. Because, the old adage goes, like, showing up is half the battle, right? Which in this day and age is part of it, right? But you're never going to win. You're never going to be a champion just showing up. You gotta practice, you gotta perform, you gotta ingrain things as habits, and you gotta take care of the little details that nobody else is gonna take care of. And the thing that I find just interesting overall is the amount of people really doing it is few and far between. And what I mean by that is, like, how many of, maybe even you, are not doing a podcast because you believe that everyone out there has a podcast? How many of you are not doing video because you think, well, everybody's doing video and I don't need to do it? How many are not writing a book or doing that magazine article, or, fill in the blank, because you think everyone else is doing it? Let me be honest. Very few people are actually doing it. There's 8 billion people on this planet now, and there's only 300,000 podcasts that have posted in the last month. How crazy is that, right? Not everybody has a podcast. In fact, it's like, what is 300,000 over 8 billion is, the number we're looking at. So 300,000 divided by 8 billion, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9 zeros. Yeah. So 0.000375. So that's 0.00375% of the world. Like, come on. Really? So, and the same goes for video. The same goes for posting on social media. The same goes for most of this stuff. Are more people posting on social media? Sure. Are a lot of people putting out great content? No. Like, that is the difference here. You need the reps. You need more and more repetitions. Like, one of the guys that I follow, for him to break in the top 10 of podcasts, it took 400 episodes. Like, so when we look at these things and we look at what we're doing or going on, like, really understand that not everyone is doing the things that we're doing, right? Not everyone can build buildings. There's only 4,000 licensed electrical engineers in the U.S. that design buildings. Think about that. In $1 trillion construction industry, and let's take 10% of that. So in $100 billion worth of work, there are only 4,000 electrical engineers doing work for commercial buildings. So in 100 billion, let me do the math here. That's 100 million billion divided by 4,000. $25 million in electrical work per engineer. Like, it's insane the volume and scale that we end up operating in. And that's all of us in construction, right? Like, it's $1 trillion in the US a year. And when we look at the numbers, right, like, of how many people are in construction in the US, and that's $1 trillion in commercial and $1 trillion in residential, roughly. So you get 1 million people that are in the construction industry, right? In construction in the U.S. Now, this may or may not include, this is just from BLS. So it's 1 million laborers plus a few others. Let's just double that to everybody else. Okay, so you got, let's say on the top end of that, 5 million people, like, for out of 325 million people that are in the U.S. Again, like, not everyone does this, right? And we take for granted the things that we do because it's such a skill to us, right? It's such a habit to us. And this is the thing when you look at 75 Hard and you talk to people in the community around it, is some things are hard for different people, right? For some people, it's drinking the water. For some people, it's reading. For some people, it's that progress picture. For some people, it's the diet, right? They can't stay away from either food or alcohol or both, right? They need ice cream or crave a beer, or they can't get their workouts in, right? And for a gym rat or somebody that's gone to the gym for every day for years on end, like, going to the gym is not hard. Sticking to a diet, not hard, right? Like, it might be reading for them. It might be, it's probably not the progress pic for all those gym people, who you are, that love taking pictures and selfies in the mirror. Like, those things aren't hard. So it might be the reading. Maybe it's the water, you never know what is hard for people. And every person has their own hard, because when we look back at it, like, you have ingrained habits, right? That person that's been going to the gym, they've probably been going to the gym for 20 years, man. And so, like, that is a very different ingrained habit than, like, you just starting going to the gym, or if you're just starting to run or anything else, right? It does become an ingrained habit over time. However, you have to build up the reps. So the hardest time to do anything is at the beginning, right? The hardest time is the start. And as funny as that sounds, like, usually, the thing that kills more entrepreneurs, more business owners, and probably more people in business, and this was for sure true for me within companies, is boredom. Like, that is the thing that kills more businesses than anything else. We talk about cash flow and finances and all that other stuff as well, but part of that is boredom. They get bored of the monotony of the day-to-day of doing the boring work, and that being great at the boring work and continuing to push forward is what will make you great. So what I think, through all of this, and what I've been thinking about, is how do you ingrain habits? Because that's really what makes things pretty easy. And so, like, if you make it a habit of doing work, if you make it a habit of doing things like 75 harder for me when I was running more often, and I'm pretty sure I just committed to doing 100 miles here in the next year. But like to finally check that race off my list. But when you do more of these things more often and you ingrain that habit, right? Like the things you do in the morning, you've been doing them for the last 10 years, pretty much guaranteed, right? Like I can tell you that I started taking showers in the morning in 8th grade because I wanted an extra 10 minutes to like wake up. I've been taking morning showers pretty much ever since. So like that is how that habit got ingrained of taking showers in the morning. And there's a lot of other things that you can do through that, but it's even as like when you're showering, right? The things that you do in the shower are repetitive, right? You wash the same body parts in the same order every single time, and you do it habitually without even noticing it, right? You brush your teeth from right to left or left to right or center to right to left or whatever order that you brush your teeth in is also habitual, right? So everything that we do is a habit, right? The mannerisms that we have, the speech that we have, the words that we say, all are habitual. Now, you can ingrain those, you can train it, you can make it different, you can be different, but it takes time and it takes skill and it takes practice to ingrain something as a habit. More often than not, it is repetition. So if you want to change anything that you're doing, understand and know that the first week, 2 weeks, 30 days are going to be the hardest of your journey on whatever it is that you want to ingrain as a habit, whether that's reading, drinking water, being on a diet, doing exercise, whatever it might be for you, or just doing work, like showing up, cranking out, the 5 things that you need to do today and doing those the first thing in the morning, right? Not waiting through the end of the day and then, it gets kicked down the road and you don't end up finishing it. So whatever it is for you, whatever thing that you need to cross off your list to really make a point of doing and to make it a habit so that it becomes easy, right? And that's the thing that I've seen more and more with successful people is these principles, these strategies, the ability to do things when no one else would. They do it because it's habit, it's ingrained, it is in their DNA and who they are. So the more that we can understand the things that create success, but more often that we can create in ourselves to be successful in our chosen profession in construction, then we can be better in everything that we do, right? If you come into the morning and you start answering emails and deal with problems and issues first thing, right? Your stress level goes high first thing, so you get these huge cortisol spikes and everything else first thing in the morning, adrenal spikes, right? Everything else, versus if you took some time in the morning to be quiet, to, get some exercise, to spend some time by yourself, to read, to get in some water, right? To eat something nutritious first thing in the morning, and get all that done in the first couple hours, and then go into the office and then deal with some issues, or not even open up email, check in on people, see how they're doing personally before you ever open any email. And then your day becomes a lot easier and you can roll into it without that stress being triggered like first thing immediately upon waking, right? So our emotions as well as our actions are habitual, right? We have an emotional home where, it's a habit to be stressed. It's a habit to be worried. It's a habit to be fearful. It's a habit to be happy. It's a habit to be excited, right? Whatever it is that your emotional home is, like that's habitual as well. And we can change those, right? We can have different thoughts. We can break that cycle of going to a bad place. And in construction, more than anything, right? Like, as we all know, stress can lead to so many illnesses, so many problems. And the better we are in managing our stress levels, our anxiety, and everything else that comes along with that, not only the healthier we're going to be, right? We're not going to have those health issues creep up on us, but we will also be more productive, better members, better team members, better husbands, wives, family members, everything else that we can be in that process. So what I want to leave with you today, and what I've been thinking about here on 75 Hard, is what makes people great? What makes them able to do the work, take the actions, even on days that they don't feel like it or don't want to, right? I think that having the ability to persevere, to win the day, to do all the right things, no matter what's coming at them, that power, that culmination, that ability is something that will serve you for a very long time. So the more you can add to your habit discipline, your habit bank, is just going to help you. And again, like a lot of this stuff I'll cover too in articles that I post on LinkedIn. So if you want to check those out, you can. And then some other nuggets that I don't really post anywhere, but other things that I'm thinking about and that I feel are valuable, I put in the newsletter. Again, all that's in the links here below. And check out what Matt's doing. His social media is really kicking off and doing great. A lot of excerpts of the podcast are out on his social media now, and we'll just keep providing you guys a ton of great content. I want to say thank you so much for listening. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and hey, make the next 30 days here to the end of the year some of the best. Don't gain that freshman 15 here in the month of December. Really get your shit together, guys. Be an example for the rest of your company, for your family, and you're going to be proud of it and happy that you decided to stay strong and do the right things here through the end of the year. It'll really serve you. So with that, thank you so much, guys. And that is this episode of the Construction Quarter Podcast. Until next time.